gonna go for a walk. Hurry. Oh my God, you're so cute. You're so cute. Oh my God, he's so cute. He's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna set this up really quick. We are doing dog intros with two dogs that have not met each other yet. Little guy Steve down here, and then Freddie, who's out there on the street already, one of our bigger dogs. And we're just gonna walk them together first. Sorry, I'm not mic'd up, so it's gonna not be probably great. We're gonna walk them together first. And the thing with both of these dogs is I already know they're both dog friendly. Steve back here is a little bit more dog selective, but even with their size difference, they have the same play style. So it would be really great if I could get them used to each other so that they can romp around with each other in my rescue, you know, while we search for their forever homes. So that's my hope. It might not happen today. We're just gonna get over here, Fred. We're gonna see how the intro goes. I always take my time with these. So if they don't do well on a leash, that doesn't mean they're not gonna get along. That doesn't mean it's not gonna work. It just means that we're gonna do more work together. So we'll do like more side-by-side stuff without them actually interacting, and just have them work together. So let me get Steven, go potty. Did you go potty? Hurry, go potty. Go potty. I'm gonna take this. Sarah's out on the street with Freddie, so I'm gonna take this out on the street as soon as he gets back. And I hope I don't lose. Come here. Good boy. I hope I don't lose service. Hopefully Wi-Fi will pick up out there. If I do lose, we're coming back in here. So if I do lose service and you want to see this, like how it goes, we'll come back in here. And if it goes well out there, then when we come back in here, we'll see how it goes in here, and we'll drop leashes. And I'm not going to muzzle anybody because neither one of these dogs have the need for that. If anybody was going to do anything, it'd be Steve, and he's a little dog, and I'm just not concerned about it. With Freddie, with other big dogs, I am. And then if it doesn't go well, we're still going to come back in here, and then I'll just show you what we do, working them on leashes in here, even if they're not going to be well off leash together today. Someone had hacked the end of his tail off and his bone was sticking out. And then Freddie, that's out here, Freddie was some gal, actually it was kind of a dick to her. I thought she wanted training, and I just felt like she wasted my time, and she wanted to give me her dog. I'm like, lady, I don't take owner surrender dogs. And I told her what to do to rehome them, and she didn't do it. She went and took him to the pound, and I felt pretty responsible, so I went and picked him up. Okay, so I'm just gonna set the camera here. You can see Sarah and Freddie down there. And actually, I'll just set it here so no cars hit. Flip this up just a little bit. Come here. Esteban. Oh, hold on. Hurry, I told you to go potty first. So the goal for the walk when we start going is just neutrality with the dogs. They're going to be interested in each other. I just don't want them to be highly reactive. So Sarah and I are going to do our best just to keep them focused on us so that they're not hyper fixated on each other. And we'll just do that a couple times before we get too close with them. Okay, go ahead and start walking towards me. So already really good sign that, I mean, I use the dog's food a lot for training them for stuff like this. Already a really good sign that they know that each other's there. not super fixated on it. Good boy. Okay, go ahead and get a little closer. Good boy, Steve. Yes. Good boy. Okay, and I'm gonna go behind you and let him get a closer look. Come back this way, Sarah. We'll do the same thing, just stay a little bit closer to the camera. So go ahead and flip around there, and then look slow. Okay. Steve jamming his nose in Freddie's butt, and Freddie's like, Fred, Freddie. Good boy. Okay, now we'll walk. Go behind. You go behind us. Rotten. Sit. Sit. Okay. Well, not much going on. I thought that we would get a little bit more, maybe in closer quarters. We'll be more interested in each other. Let's go. Okay. Oh, there. Steven, leave it. Leave it. Okay, hold on so you guys can see what's happening. Yes. Good boy. Fred. Good job, Freddie. Nobody wants to play with each other. Who's not playing with each other? Greetings, Steve. It's a little more intense than I would have appreciated. Would you stop? Fred. Good boy. Fred. Good boy. Yes. Stay, Steven, stop there. No. Good boy. Fred. All right, well, we picked the wrong dogs for the wrong. So Freddie is we have a cat up here, and Freddie's big issue is he wants to go for cats. So working him through that's been his focus the last 2 weeks. And when he comes in here,
Fred.
a lot of up until recently, everything's been out the window, like trying to get his attention, trying to do anything because the cat's been right here. So we just recently got him to start playing with toys, and No. Good boy. That was too much energy for him. Steven. No. Steve! So with all of this going on, stop it. That's enough. With Freddie hyperfixated on the cat and Steve's getting irritated at him being hyperfixated and everything's in close quarters right now. Like this would be a terrible time to drop leashes, even though both dogs are dog friendly, even though both dogs will eventually do fine together. No. And so to let him keep lunging at Freddie, even though Freddie doesn't care, is just creating bad habits for him. But more importantly, he's not a super socialized dog with a lot of dogs outside of my house. Most everybody that he meets, Steven, is here in the house or in the rescue. So from here, because this is going to be a short live, we have to get going at 6 o'clock. From here, all we're going to do is start walking them together. We'll just start walking them together for the next probably week. And then once we get through that and we come back in here, we'll do things like place work, have somebody do place work. One of us will do, Steve, for the love of God. One of us will have one leash and the other one will have the other. And we'll do things where they have to work next to each other. They have to work side by side. They have to, they'll be on command doing things, but they won't necessarily, God, this is so stupid. And they'll be together, but they won't necessarily we won't drop leashes and just expect them, to go for it. And that won't be long. That is, I said, oops, sorry. Hold on a second. Steve. Hold on a second. It also probably didn't help that I just woke Steve up from his afternoon slumber and brought him right out here and was like, hey, let's give this a shot and see what happens.
A good example of displacement behavior.
And Steve is a very high-strung dog. He doesn't get enough attention in the right moment, and he wants to do something, like right now. He wants food, he wants to do something. And you can see that Sarah's got food in her pocket. So really that's it. Were there any comments, any questions for this? Oh, you know what? I probably missed them because I don't think I can see them again after they come up. Sorry about that. No, Steven. God, I'm like a toddler. But he is a really great dog.
And he's up for adoption.
He's up for adoption. He would do really, really great with someone that wanted to do obedience. Not obedience, what's the one I'm thinking of? Not trick training.
Rally.
Not rally. Agility. Agility.
They'd probably be great at rally.
Rally is lame. Have you ever seen
but-
that?
yeah.
So boring.
But they love it.
They do love it. They do love it. If there were any questions, you can throw them up now. We're not going to stay too much longer. I thought we were going to get more out of the dogs than this. Steve! Enough! Good boy. Shut. I'll just throw this down here. Good boy.
Pretty.
I wish you would not do that. Good heel. Good boy. No. Good boy. Yes. You know how long it took me to get him to do a sit next to me? And then you lost it. Good.
Pretty. No.
Good boy.
Pretty. There you go. Yes. Eat it. Yes. Good boy.
No. Steve, over here. You little human. Yes.
Leave it.
No.
Freddie, no.
Leave it. Good. Good, leave it. Good boy. You stay in here. Okay. So that's it. Pretty basic. I mean, neither one of the dogs are very trained. Steve does well with other dogs. He's got a couple little tiny basics, but that's really it. He doesn't have any solid commands. And Freddie is pretty new to us. Just 5 minutes ago, I Googled about parvo. I'm sorry, not in relation to what's going on now. I have a parvo video. I get tons and tons of messages and tons of emails and tons of everything. Everything that I have for parvo is in that video. Everything. I didn't leave anything out. All the directions, even at the very end of the video, I listed in order and what times you give all the different medicines, all the different fluids, all the different foods, everything. So I don't get back to messages about that because I just don't have any additional information. That's really everything that I have. So anyway, but back to this. We'll do another video with them. We'll work on them a little bit. Freddie's pretty new to us, so he has not, like with his cat stuff, it's just been, I saw it, they're just hospitalized. Wish I would have seen it sooner. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, at least you have the information now. You know, you have it now. So, to the one, oh, my favorite. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Oh, the one whom Jesus loves. I wanted to tell you, this was important. I was thinking about you when I did this. So the channel, this channel, I had, because I'm a dog trainer and I have a rescue, I had integrated the rescue last summer, and it really messed up the algorithm for this channel because one is educational, which is dog training, and the other one is, I thought it was educational, but I guess it's a form of entertainment, you know, just with being the rescue. So unfortunately, I had to split the channels in half. So now there's a totally separate channel just for the rescue, and it's called Hand Over Rover, which is the name of my rescue. And so this channel will be just dog training moving forward. So if you don't see a lot of the rescue, you'll still see me talk about them. You'll still see them in my videos because it's the dogs I train. But if you don't see a lot of the stories and a lot of the things rescue related, it's because it's on the other channel. So I didn't get a chance to give anybody a heads up. In my last video, I was delayed. I was going to throw it in there. And then the parvo, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to hear about your dogs. But the other reason it was important that I got that is because when you don't know what to do at the hospital, you know, I've been through it so ungodly many times, that it makes it easier to navigate. But when you oh, awesome. I don't even think I linked it on here. Stephen, I just split the channel up a couple weeks ago, and I was gonna post it in my last video, and I just didn't get the time to. I spaced it. There's just so much going on a daily basis. So I'll link it on like the homepage where all the description and stuff is, like where you can see the merchandise and everything else. I'll put the rescue channel. It's just Hand Over Rover. Whatever, when you see the merchandise, Hand Over Rover, if you didn't know, that's my rescue. Sarah runs it with me. She does the training with me. She's the one that had Freddie. So that's that. And all the dogs that you see in the training right now are all rescue dogs. Upcoming, I have more. Steven, get over here. I have in-person training coming up, so you'll be able to see live training with the big camera. It'll be edited, it'll be clear, so you can see, you know, things that happen, the shit show in the beginning, and then that's where I donate to Hand Over. Oh, awesome, thank you. And then you'll be able to see, you know, the transformation and how we get the client set up with all that without it being, you know, a 2-hour-long video. So, have any tips to teach my dog a focused heel? Yeah, we do. There's tons of videos on there. I don't have anybody that I can, off the top of my head, that I can refer you to. We do, so the way that we teach it in the beginning, Sarah and I, is for me, the focused heel, I like for a dog to be touching me when they do that, like when they're, you know, I like that body contact. And so to get that real tight heel, we'll start with just place marking. And we always use the dog's daily food. So something like this. And I'm just gonna have the dog touch it with its 2 front paws, because what you wanna do is teach them rear end awareness. You want to teach them to swing their butt. Like how you see Steve keeps flipping out in front of me because he wants to make eye contact. He doesn't realize he can be right here next to me, touching me, and make eye contact. Because I haven't taught him that. Most dogs don't know that. They're just used to sitting in front of you. And so in the beginning, you put a leash on your dog. And sometimes touching something like this is kind of awkward. So you just lure them. You just lure them on, little tug. And then as soon as they get their 2 front paws on, you let go of the food. You tell them yes. And then you do it again. Yes, good job. And so Steve already knows what touch is. So if I get him off, would you not stand? And I say touch, he's gonna touch. And now from here, you just practice moving your dog around it with keeping their front paws on it. It's much, I'm sure it's easier with Steve because he's got a real good idea of what to do, and he's a super trainable, smart dog. But film yourself doing it so you can watch your hand placement and your body movement. So if I have him facing me, I'm gonna fold my hand over, and I'm using my leash to kind of give him direction, and I'm gonna take and swing him all the way around. And in the beginning, if he only goes to there, great. I'm gonna release the food right there. But the goal is to get his butt all the way next to me. And then I'm gonna keep going. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. See how I'm holding onto the leash so that he can't pull backwards? I'm gonna, come here. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna keep going. You got it. You got it. There you go. The leash is bugging him because I had tension on it. I don't want to put tension on it. I'm just showing you a fast forward way, because if you do pull on this, you're going to confuse your dog. So the idea is to just do little tiny movements with them. This is just kind of to hang on to them so they don't go anywhere. Okay, so once I get my dog to where they'll belly up next to me like that, then I start doing movements with my dog. So my food is my lure. Good, yes. And then anytime my dog makes the movement that I'm looking for, even if it's just 2 steps, I release the food. In the beginning, just 1 step, that's it, release the food. 1 step, that's it, release the food. And you just keep doing it like that until you can get their butt to make, I know that, he makes it look easy because Sarah's worked with him a bunch for little, she's cleaned up a lot of that stuff. She taught him touch. But I'll do it with one of the dogs that I don't, that doesn't have it yet, so you can see it a little bit better. But that's the very beginning, so you can get them to move with you, and they learn to stay right there next to you. And then from there, it's the same concept. So if I have my dog right here next to me, and he's not going to do it. Another thing is to put a wall in between you so he can't keep swinging his butt out. But if I have my dog right here next to me and he gives me 2 seconds of eye contact and then looks away, then I'm going to count 1, 2, reward. And I'm going to however long, this is how someone else just taught me recently, however long you want that focus for is what you're, like say you want a 2-minute focused heel. I want my dog to look at me for 2 minutes walking down the street. Then you got to practice it without movement first, because as soon as you start moving, the dog's most likely going to get off, not pay attention to you. So I like to teach the butt movement first, get them next to you, and then you practice that eye contact, boom, reward, boom, reward, boom, reward. There's a couple, we'll break it down again in another video. And then you start adding movement. And then you start adding a couple of steps to it. That's how we've done it. That's how I've done it. That's, I haven't sat and waited. I don't care if my dog gives me a 3-minute focused heel. I just don't care. But my big dogs, like my Billy, my Kevin, my big pit bulls, when we're out on the street, if I hold my hand in the placement, which is right here, they'll stare at me nonstop. And there's sometimes where I have to break them away so that they just relax a little bit, because they're so ready for that reward, and they know that eye contact is always the work, the job. that they'll give me, you know, a 5-minute focused heel if I asked for it. I just don't ask for it, but they'll do it for a long time. And I didn't teach them a long duration of that. It just worked out that way because they're really, really food motivated and really drivey dogs that want something to do. So that's the beginning of that. Be on the lookout. We have the Leash Foundation course, the Leash Reactivity course, and this kind of stuff is stuff I really like to do with the dogs, because all of the rescue dogs we have, that every dog that comes to us, it's behavioral usually. If it's not medical, it's behavioral. And the only reason is they're not getting the right kind of brain work. They just need a job to do. They're real drivey dogs. And so I like doing this kind of stuff, not because we compete them, but because it gives, like, it just sharpens your dog. It gives them a job. It makes them smarter. And then they're more engaged with you. It builds a relationship. Like, you know, it makes everything so great. And you're not constantly hammering on your dog, missing the timing, not knowing if you're overcorrecting, if you're even underwhelming them, any of that. And it just creates a really good bond. And then you got a well-rounded dog that doesn't react to other things, doesn't get crazy. It just is, leans on the side of a balanced dog because their brain is exhausted. You know, they got that right kind of stimulation. So anyway, Sarah and I are gonna put together, we have a couple more courses that we're working on, and one of them is engagement exercises. We talked about doing, because when I was learning how to do focused heel, I couldn't find a video for the life of me, and it made me furious. I was so irritated by it. I couldn't find a good video that taught like how, not focused heel, I'm sorry, contact heel. That's what I was looking for, the contact heel. So we'll do stuff like that. So we have some stuff coming out this summer, so be on the lookout for that. All the courses are always $20, so anybody can afford them. You know, there's no excuses there. And I think that's it. We're not gonna stay long on this one. Sarah's outside right now anyway. And if there's anything that you guys need, if there's anything you wanna see, let us know. Drop a comment on any of the other videos, like the more recent videos that are up. Let me know, because the lives I like to do at least once a month, and just go through anything that we're working with the dogs, or, you know, something that maybe you guys want to see. I just don't know what's needed. So I just try to pull out the videos that we do. Are like the last couple of dogs have been Farley. There's been a lot of the English Bulldog, because he was there was a lot going on with him. And so he took up a couple of the last videos, and just how to work through that stuff, because there's so many dogs that have little bits and pieces of what he had, and now he's ready to be adopted. Like, it didn't take that long to get him in shape, and he was human aggressive and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So he's really, really in a good position. So that's how I go about doing the videos. It's just kind of what we're working on for us, like at the moment, like what's fucking going wrong over here? Like, what are we drowning in? What's taking up our time? Let's just put that into a video, because I guarantee there's somebody else that needs help with that. So that's where some of the training ideas stem from. But like I said, we're gonna start taking clients again. What month are we in? End of April, May, beginning of May, we'll start taking clients again. And so it'll be more focused on, you know, what's going on with the client. And I'm sure there'll be other people that can relate to that. And that'll be what the videos are. So anyway, but we're always open to suggestions. We're always open to ideas. If there's anything that you need, there really isn't anything that we haven't dealt with as far as behavior goes, from, you know, dogs killing other animals, to dogs trying to kill me, to Sarah being attacked, to, you know, human aggression, dog aggression, vacuum aggression. The channel is primarily for that. You know, I have a real vendetta against people euthanizing animals for behavior. I don't agree with it. I think it's the stupidest thing on the planet, and I don't think it should be allowed, but it is. And that's, you know, that's just my opinion, because we've worked all the dogs through it. There's just no need for some of that stuff. It just takes a little bit longer. And there's not a lot of dog trainers, unfortunately, that are going to pony up and do that, because, you know, they have an allotted amount of time to get things done. And if they can't get it done in that time frame, well then, you know, they don't get paid. And fortunately for us, for Sarah and I, because we have the rescue, you know, my name comes into play, you know, my commitment, my everything that I said I was going to do. And so when it started out as I signed my name on the dotted line, knowing this dog is nobody was going to work with them, and not even knowing if I could do it. And the rule for myself was, if I can't get the dog to where I think they should be, then that's how it is. But they're not going to have a shitty life. Like, I'm still going to give them everything. They might be in a separate rotation. They might not go and do all the vacations that I thought they were going to do on, camping and all that stuff, but they're going to have a stellar life no matter what, because I said I was going to finish it. And consequently, as it's turned out, when you burn the boats, you take the island. I've never had a dog that you can't pull through. It just takes time. It takes longer than what a professional, you can ask any trainer what's the amount of time before you have to decide to euthanize. How do you even ask that? What kind of question is that? And no one's gonna have a valid answer, because there is no right. What's the answer to that? Okay, it took you 180 days, and then you decided, well, what if 181 was the breaking point? What if that one day so it's an unregulated industry. It's kind of a weird, hey, don't. It's a weird conversation. But at the end of the day, when you commit to the process, and this is just, Sarah and I do things for dog owners. Look at his little tiny head down there. For dog owners. So I'm well aware that, we are trained professionals now, but we weren't when we started. We were just a couple of people, trying to get shit done, not wanting these animals to have to go through these situations. And so anybody can do this. The sacrifices up front are heavy, but the payoff, once you start getting through that, you'll never look back. So anyway, that's my TED Talk. I'm gonna get off here, otherwise I'm gonna talk forever, and I said we had to go. Are there any questions, any input, anything that anybody else wanted or needed? Or I know the parvo person, did I finish that? The parvo person that jumped on, I know they said they had to hospitalize their dogs. That's tough. But the good thing about that, I've been crying all day. I feel a little better that I'm aware. Thank you. Your passion is amazing. Look forward to viewing and learning more. My apologies, viewers, for the interruption. Oh God, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've been super edgy all day. So that was me. That was not an interruption. That was just me hanging on by a thread, because I've been dealing with it with the rescue. The dogs are fine. Just a lot on our plate right now, and it's never ending, and managing other people's emotions and other people's expectations. And then I have 4 big, huge platforms that I run, and all the dogs here, it's just a lot. And I was just in a mood today. So I'm really sorry about your dogs, though, about the hospitalizing, but I'm glad that you got them there. Most people can't afford that, and I'm sure it's probably breaking the bank for you, but at least you got that initial part done. And the video, that was, what do you think if the pit bull breed I have, 10-month-old puppy, had her since she was 4 months, she's still a little food aggressive. Yeah, you can work her through it. Of course you can work her through it, absolutely. So if you're not doing hand feeding for eye contact, you have to. You have to. When dogs are food aggressive, the food comes from you, not the bull. Not something else. Everything comes from you. Everything. Any kind of aggression, you got to teach them to work for their payment. And so you think about, like, how do they get paid? They get paid with food. Is that the same thing? Yeah. So if you didn't get, I'm trying to think, there's the most recent videos on this channel. If you go through like the last 3 or 4, it goes over so much of that. So much of that. I think the last 3 or 4, even if they're not titled food aggression, I can't remember what they are, but that will be really good for you. And then the leash reactivity course, I'm sorry, my neck seized up on me. The leash reactivity course, if you don't have that, get it. Because even though it's not titled food aggressive, the leash reactivity course, I cannot express enough how much, I'm sorry, Sarah's out there and I don't have her reading these for me. Just trying to charge a woman. I'm super frustrated because I feel like that was a setback. Okay, hold on. My phone is gonna die. Bye for now. Okay, bye. Thanks for being here, darling. The leash reactivity course is behavior modification in the simplest format. So if you don't have it, get it. It doesn't matter what, like food aggression, any of that, get it. You need it for sure. Go through that. Go through the last couple of videos, and then we do lives with that course, so you can jump in there and ask questions. And the setback that you just had, All of those situations, you know, those are, you have to chalk them up to, you aren't where you need to be. You know, put the blame on yourself. So what? Somebody else's dog lunged at you. That's like asking the world to stop turning for a minute so I can finish blow drying my hair. You know, it's just not going to happen. It just happens. And I'm not saying it happens to me. I know, I totally get it. It's super frustrating. But chalk those up to, okay, this is where we're at. We weren't ready for something like that. You know, my dog can't deal with that yet. So got to focus a little bit more on working my dog through heavier distractions. Maybe start at a distance, go to a dog park and stay way far away, and then slowly work up to it so that when you get there, dogs are going to lunge at the fence towards your dog because it's a dog park. But start working your dog through that and desensitizing them through that situation. And then things like that, you know, it won't be so frustrating, and you can use it as, oh, you know, the situation that I was going to drive to go train my dog is just here. You know, how fortunate am I that it's just here? Kind of, you know, a goofy way to look at things, but it is helpful. I had to look at things that way because I was about ready to shave my head and run down the street screaming because it just gets really frustrating. So people are always going to have dogs like that. And I think that was it. And I was just going back to the parvo lady. If you're still here, and you didn't go through that video, I think you said you did, but there's going to be a lot of stuff in there that you can do at home. So if you can get your dogs through that first hump, you can do the rest at home. I've walked her at Home Depot and she was fine, but made me feel like she's human aggressive. Yeah, so you just have more work to do. I mean, the other thing is, you know, if you feel that way, she's picking up on your energy. You know, if there's not a lot of structure, boundaries, leadership for that dog and in the home, she's picking up on what's going on with you. So if I have one of my big dogs and I'm a nervous wreck, I'm like, oh God, you don't really know, you don't totally trust your dog. And then they start showing a little bit of behavior that I'm like, oh shit, my dog might be, you know, now not only am I not relaxed, cool, calm, and confident, but now my arm's gonna do this just a little bit. So if I'm holding a relaxed leash, come here, Steve. So if I'm holding a relaxed leash and now I'm a little nervous, that tension right there is gonna trigger my dog, even just the tiniest bit. And it's going to cause them to be a little bit more reactive. A little bit more reactive than my dog would have been otherwise. Some days are great, but it's a lot. Get the leash reactivity course, Pink Caramel. Get the leash. It's only $20. I mean, that's the reason it's only $20. Get that course, start going through it. Getting Sarah and I, we do a live every week in the Facebook group, and it'll change everything. It'll help tremendously. And I teach everything with just flat buckle collars and slip leads because I know I used to use prong collars, but they were just, it's hard, unless you're the professional, it's difficult to teach somebody else the right time to use something like that. And so you're better off learning what's going on with your dog, why it's going on, what are you bringing to the table, what are you not bringing to the table, and rebuilding it that way. Because you're not going to have access to a trainer, you know, every single day. And that's what you would need if you were going to use a prong collar. Yeah, so your timing might be off, your fitting might be off, your pressure might be off. If you're constantly pulling on it, there's a lot of things that when you're not using a prong collar correctly, you've got, you know, it's not, your dog might not even, they might be desensitized to the leash pressure, not even know what leash pressure is. So a lot of different steps. So go through the leash reactivity course. If you still want to use it, you can, obviously. You can use it in that course. Steve. But go through that because it's going to rebuild the things that you're missing. And then for the other person that asked about leash foundation and reactivity, I'll link them below this. It's leashfoundation.com and leashreactivity.com. I can see him over here. Yes, again, the leash reactivity course for you, the building confidence, that's what it is. That's what it is. If I could just put it out here, you know, for everybody, Steve, he's super frustrated. That's what it is. Because if you're walking your dog, like it's everything you do is not on the leash. The leash foundation is all on the leash. It's how to teach leash pressure, how to keep your dog with you, how to do the turns, all of that. Leash reactivity is all you and your dog. Do you have a fearful dog? Do you have an aggressive dog? What kind of owner are you? Are you coming and showing up as the right person for your dog? Like, it's rebuilding that, so it's engagement, it's behavior, it's confidence building, and then you're doing things with your dog to build their confidence, which in turn builds your confidence. And now you start moving through some leash protocols with them, and now everything's different. Now your dog, you're not focusing on your dog, you're not trying to correct your dog for lunging at that person or for fixating on, whatever. Now you're just focusing on you and the dog, and your dog is so hyper focused on what you guys have built together that all these other things are just kind of like whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And the other big thing is exercise. We have all these big, huge bully breeds that they're, at the end of the day, they were bred to hold and shake until the object stops moving. That's what they were bred. That's their genetic DNA. And so if you're not giving your dog the right kind of outlet, you have to understand that when they get frustrated, when they get fearful, when they get whatever, if they're just bored, at some point they're going to grab onto something and hold and shake because they're bred to do that. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not saying your dog is going to do that, but you have to give them the right kind of outlet. Otherwise, it's pent up energy. One of my videos, I just talked about it because I like to work out. And if I don't get my heavy lifts in, just because it feels good, at least a few times a week, like today, I didn't work out today. I'm a shithead to deal with. I'm just aggravated. I just want to like drop kick somebody and run your mouth or whatever, and that's not something that when I've worked out, I'm balanced, I'm good. Yeah, same thing. So same thing with the dogs. And the unfortunate part is because they're such great dogs, they're so good with us. Hey, Steven. It's my fault because I just let him. Get over here. Come here. Good boy. Come here. Why don't you just hang out with me for a minute instead of being all over the place? Like, this is a dog that didn't get worked out. I shouldn't have brought him out of the kennel and just expected that he was going to hang out here with me. He needed to be worked. He needed to do some tug work. He needed to do some eye contact. Yeah. Work his brain a little bit, calm him down. So then when I ask him, hey, sit down, lay down, calm down, now it's a fair ask. It's a fair ask. Just bringing a dog that has whatever breed he is, that's all wound up, and asking him to sit here after he was just in the kennel for an hour, sleeping, and say, hey, sit here while I do this live. Well, that's kind of a dick thing to do. And that's, because I know the dog. I know what he needs. His needs haven't been met today. He just had a little bit of work this morning. He didn't get a very long session. So those are the kind of things that the reactivity course has in there. And then again, like the live that I'm doing right now, Sarah and I do it once a week for an hour and a half. And anybody that's in that course, as you're going through it, we have a private Facebook group. So during the week, you can post videos, you can ask questions. I have another trainer that will answer questions during the week. And then Sarah and I go through everything at the end of the week, and we come out here and do demos with the dogs. We answer questions, like just the stuff you're doing, we're doing right now, and just give a more detailed breakdown. But it makes more sense because you've gone through the protocols in there, so you would understand. Like if I said, well, do a recall, or have your dog, whatever. I can't even think of anything to do. A ready catch, that's a big one that we use. Have your dog focus on a ready, you would know what I was talking about. And it would be something that you may have not perfected, but you would have a good idea of what it was. And it's all using their food as a reward, using you as the reward. So there's not, it's not like snacks, and you're not just shoving candy down your dog's throat to get them to pay attention to you. We're teaching our dogs how to work, how to give them a job to do. Because ultimately, every breed was bred for some kind of job for us, to do something for us. And so for us, because we live in the city, I don't have a big piece of land where I can let them, my guardian dogs, like my Akita, I don't have some where she can go, be what she was bred to do. So I have to emulate that. I have to give her jobs to do that fulfill that need. And you can do it. You can do it in the city, you can do it in an apartment. it's just, you know, it's just getting creative, but a lot of that is in that course. So that's leash reactivity. No, it's fixleashreactivity.com, but I'll link everything below. Okay, I think that's it. I don't see anything else coming through. I hope I got to everything. I'm sorry, Sarah's usually in here and she'll grab a comment if I miss it so that I can show more stuff, but because we got both the dogs, I know she's out in the backyard right now. So we will call that, and then fixleashreactivity.com. If you need help, get that. If you need Leash Foundation, get that. They're $20. And the training that we do, the lives, I think those are worth their weight in gold. You know, we love doing it, so we just do it. But if I had access to that when I was starting out, I mean, I would have paid a lot of money for that. And I just don't want anybody to have an excuse not to be able to work their dog. You know, I don't want you to give up your dog. I don't want you to feel stuck, because anybody can do it. This was awesome. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, all right, you guys, thank you for being here. And remember, if there's anything that you need, anything that you can think of, like, oh, I wish she would do a video on this, drop it. I'm gonna leave this video up so you can just post it here, post it in the thread of this video, and Sarah and I will get to it.